We're joined now by Lara Trump, who's the co-chair of the former president's campaign. She, of course, is also his daughter-in-law. Ms. Trump, good morning. Good evening. It's good to see you.
Who knows what time it is anymore?
Yep, it's like a casino. There's no clocks. Old habits die hard. It's nice to have you with us tonight. Let's pick up where Garrett just left off. A lot of advisors, we're told, have said to your father-in-law, behave yourself, just play it straight, don't be the truth social Donald Trump, be the guy that looks presidential. Is that the advice that you've given him, and do you think he'll take it?
Well, he took it on June 27th in the debate against Joe Biden. And, you know, I think if anybody had any question, how can Donald Trump perform in a debate? That was a knockout punch. Joe Biden is no longer the nominee for the Democrats, I would say specifically because of that debate. So, look, Donald Trump knows exactly what he needs to do, Savannah. Whenever he goes into this debate this evening, this is about talking about how the American people's lives were while he was in office and how their lives are right now. And he has to make sure people are reminded that Kamala Harris has had the opportunity for nearly 4 years to do a whole host of different things. Many of them she's talked about in the past several weeks. And I think the major question is, why do you have to wait? Why aren't you doing these things now? And he has to kind of expose Kamala Harris, I think, for who she really is, because America, by and large, does not know a lot about her. She's only done, of course, one interview thus far. So I think he's going to be calm, cool, and collected. I think everybody's going to be very impressed tonight.
Lara, typically in these things, both sides will claim victory. But at the end of the day, internally, what is a home run for Donald Trump tonight?
Well, I think it's him having the opportunity to directly engage with the American people and truly call Kamala Harris out for some of her very radical past. You know, she has seemed to change her tune very recently on a lot of things. And it does beg the question, who is Kamala Harris and what is her plan for the future of this country? I think if he lays out what he did while he was president for 4 years and what he plans to do to rectify a lot of the damage that, quite frankly, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have caused in this country, I think that is a great success, and I think that we're going to see that happen tonight.
Well, you know, Nikki Haley, who, of course, was a rival of your father-in-law's in the primary, said that part of the reason that Donald Trump is trailing among women voters in particular, women voters that he very much needs in order to prevail in this election, is because of the way that he and his running mate, J.D. Vance, speak to women. She said, when you call even a Democrat woman dumb, Republican women get their backs up, too. Stick to the policies, leave all the other stuff. I mean, it's interesting because you say he knows how to be calm, cool, and collected on a debate stage. But at this point, for better or for worse, voters know him, and they know what he says on Truth Social, and he knows the names that he calls, and he knows some of the innuendo that I couldn't even repeat here on air that he makes about his running, his opponent here. So how does that play into your concerns about this election?
Well, listen, I think Donald Trump is incredibly transparent, and I believe that that is something that's important for a leader in this country. Look, we had 3.5 years, Savannah, of people saying, what's going on with Joe Biden? And Kamala Harris was one of the many people who lied about his state. We need transparency in our leaders, and you don't have to love everything about Donald Trump. Quite frankly, he himself said, you don't even have to like me. But when you are talking about someone who is going to have the policies that's going to make your life less expensive, that is going to secure our southern border, that's going to keep us safe, that is going to get us out of wars, not into wars, those are the policies that people need to hear about, and that's what I think people should be basing their vote on. And it's our job at the RNC and the campaign to relay that to people.
Just to be clear, I mean, that policy debate absolutely is fair game and should happen. What I'm talking about is stuff he puts on Truth Social where he calls her dumb or not that smart or not as good looking as him, or makes a sexual innuendo about how she attained her position in politics, that kind of thing.
Well, Donald Trump is very good looking. He'll be the first to tell you that. But I really ultimately think that, you know, whenever people are more focused on that than they are their everyday life, I think that's a hard thing to try and sell to people whenever they go to the grocery store and they can't buy as much for their families, whenever they go to fill up their gas with their gas tank and they can't fill it up as much. Ultimately, I think that elections come down to kitchen table issues. And again, you don't have to love everything about him. him. You might not even want to hang out with Donald Trump, but whenever you look at your life and the future for this country, you know between these two individuals, you cannot survive 4 more years of what this country has just been through, and that is exactly what a Kamala Harris administration would be. Donald Trump's policies worked. They made life better for people all across this country. They kept us safe, and he will do it again with 4 more years in the White House.
Right. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.